Yes, guys, hope everyone is doing well. So in this video, what we're going to do is a tactical breakdown and a bit of analysis on the performance against Manchester United. We're going to focus more on a few individuals defensively, because that was a bit of a concern in the game. We're going to go through it. We're going to talk about some individuals who played well, who didn't, what we saw from Fark Ball and how it can progress and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, without any further ado, let's just get straight into it. Please leave a like and subscribe. I'd appreciate that. Thank you. The first section of the game we are going to look at is defence. These guys here who all played in defence yesterday, two different halves, two different entire defences. Barcode Drama, who played left back, which is nothing we'll discuss. So we'll talk about these guys right here. What we're going to do is, we're speaking to them all, but we're going to focus particularly on these two young lads who I was very impressed with, and we'll go through why, as well as speaking about the others as well. Don't worry, let's get into it. A little focus on straight away in the first 1 minute 30 seconds in terms of defence, and this is what I liked, and this is a constant theme. There's Jeremiah there and Liam Cooper. What I liked about them was we played a high, compact kind of mid block at this point. What I liked, and that works well obviously, if everyone in the defence is keeping the line. And that's what I liked about Jeremiah in this position. It was always, and you could see him here scanning. He always did that. He was always looking over his shoulder at where this guy or this guy or this guy were running. The line of the defence in the first half was very impressive, and this is just a first example. Again, this is just a few moments later. Again, looking at that high line, Man United in this half, especially with Sancho, they had them late runners coming in behind, the inverted fullbacks tucked inside, who kind of decoy it, and then these wingers would really go in between. That's what I liked about it here. Again, a relatively good line, playing the guy offside, and Jeremiah was really good at anticipating when to stop and when to track. So while we're talking about defence and that connection between defending and midfielding, the issue was this. So when we got the ball, the goalkeeper, and you give it to the centre-back, the options are not here, right? Here, you required, the movement in here has to be more, the body language there doesn't show it is. The first movement was there from the midfielders. They made that move, but then once they were tracked, they didn't make another one. It was kind of a lot of standing and watching, and as a centre-back, who on earth do you pass to? You know, he's tracking that one out there, so that's a risk. The only real option is the other centre-back. But then when you came to the other centre-back, there was the same issue. Again, you go back to the goalkeeper. The only option, really, is still Mullen. He's still the only real option in there. You're looking at Helder making a move here, and that's something to try, but it's got to be quick, it's got to be decisive, it's got to be known, and this is the point in these games, to look at stuff like this and say, right, this is what we need to do in this position. It's like this one, really quick there. The second Cooper has that ball, it's got to be. You have to know exactly where you want to be. It's got to be in here. If that's what you're doing, if that's the way you play, and that's the way Fark does play, that forward passing centre-back, if it's on, Helder has to be a little bit more over here, just a little bit more in the middle. It's got to be a quick, firm pass into this area. You've beaten a four-man press. You see what I mean? And it's about being decisive in these moments defensively. Again, this is a few months after with Jeremiah on the ball. Where's the options here? Every single Leeds player is kind of behind their man. You're looking at this angle here. He'll be there in no time. Behind the man. Not really been an option. There's not really much on for him. And this was a theme, but this is something you'll work on, right? Jeremiah gets the ball there, gives it out. And this is now where you're in a bit of position to create an attack. You know, you've got a 3v3 here, and you've got your guy on the wing. Good little pass there from Jeremiah. But again, this is about the line. I love the line. Very good line. Martinez out here pinged the ball straight over to Diallo, but the line is good. It's a good line. That's about half a second after he's kicked it, hence why Helder is now currently and then tracking him. But Diallo was miles offside. Good line. And this is what I mean by, in my previous video, where I spoke about Helder gets caught a little bit, and this is what I mean here. The line there, fairly together, fairly solid. He's just got to recognise that. It's two facing one way. He's got to be slightly turned or always looking over his shoulder. Just to be a few steps up. And this guy's offside. I'll be tucking a little bit more. Be a bit higher and tucked in a little bit more around here. Because then you can track either side. You're not too close to him. And then the ball has got to be a longer one and you can't thread it through this gap. It's got to go over you. Do you know what I mean? If he's a little bit tighter in there, a little bit higher up, he's either offside or the ball can't come through. It's got to go over. Or come straight through that gap. This is where Jeremiah gets caught out, and he's had 13 passes so far in this half, and they've all been successful. This is the one where he gets caught out. Let's look into it. He gets the ball here. There's a high press, very high press to Manchester United. Now, initially, the safest option, and he's saying here, go back to the goalkeeper, which he tries. But I think he hesitates. He's looking at Garby in there. He's looking at Shaq in there, and he's thinking, are they an option? And again, Fark will tell him in that position, if it's not on, just first thought, go to the keeper. It's fine. We'll recycle play and we continue from the goal kick. But then obviously playing out from the goal kick then is when we have to learn the goal kick. Yeah, how to play out from the goal kick. But yeah, gets caught on it, high press. No midfield option really for him. No real option in there. Tries to go back, gets caught. This is what I liked about Chris Moore when he came on. I moved on to the second half, otherwise we'd be here for hours. So Chris Moore gets the ball in this position, a difficult area. Doesn't panic. And whether he means it or not, it's a really good pass. He thread one through to Joffrey here. Really good pass. What I like about this as well, Joffrey was showing for the ball, being in a position to receive it, which is what I like about Joffrey. A great composure by Chris Moore in that position. And obviously a big reason for this, a big caveat is Jeremiah Mullen has again had Mason Mount, Sancho, and the rest of them running at him. So in that half for me, he was very impressive. Having watched it back, I'm more impressed now. But I like that Chris Moore here gets his ball in position, sees there's no option. So what does he do? He drives with it, drives into that space. And then we get the option from Joffrey here who gives it to Lewis Bate, and then we go out the other side. Really good play. Another one here, look. Not really any options for him, Chris Moore. So what does he do? Drives through him. And he actually gets all the way up to here, but there's not an option. He gives the ball a pass. But it's that Daniel Fark system, that centre-back who is comfortable driving out with the ball at the back. Fark will like that. He'll be really impressed with what he did there. Let's talk about their goal real quick. Yeah, let's get on to it. So they have the ball here. Pascal actually reads it really well. He actually intercepts it, but his touch is a bit baggy. And if it's just any better, it goes to him. You know, it can go to anyone. It goes straight to their guy. He touches it into their guy. And now this is what I mean by that line. Now, as you can see, Luke Ayling is back there. Cody Drama is back there. Chris Moore now has to recognise, and this is literally just after the pass. So just before that pass, you've got to step. You've got to reckon. Yeah, that's a quick scan, okay? And then look, is that risk with offside? Do you go with the man? Do you wait? In the first half, they waited, and the Man United did about 4 or 5 offsides, which worked really well. And that's the same in this position, and he's still a marginally offside, arguably. Yeah, as you can see, just as he kicks that ball, just step, just a little step, and he's offside by a good yard or two. But that's it. That's fine. That's the learning curve. That's part of football. That is what it is. Don't lose the ball in those areas. Don't make those mistakes. And then they'll be a bit more prepared here. Just a little step, and he's offside quite comfortably. That's it. All it is. And we'll go back to this moment here. Now, this is another one. So as you can see, the ball's about to come up in this position here. Now, Pascal's gone with the young man. But the rest of the defenders are not really on that move. That's fine, the initial process. But then let's look what happens after that. So the ball doesn't come to him. He's gone. He's offside. So Pascal now has to step up quickly, get in line with everyone else, right? But then what he does is he re-goes with this man. And you don't have to. And I don't think everything comes from this, but it's just my point, you know, what we've got to learn here. Because when you go with that man, who would have been miles offside, because look how far up he is from everyone else, you just step and look across the line and everyone's in the same line. He's offside. And not only that, he brings him back into play. Okay? So if he just doesn't track it, he just scans his head when that guy's running real quick and steps. And he'll notice everyone is behind him. Just a little thing that I picked up on. Now, because of that, they played the ball in here, and you're in a dangerous position to attack, right? Look at all the depth they have now. Look at all the space because of that. This right here is the moment of the game from Chris Moore for me. Gets the ball here, in this position. No options. Cutting edge risk pass. Fark will love this as well. Straight through the eye of the needle, into that position. Big risk, but it's part of the system. It's what he wants. Now, when he's beaten that press, look at all this space now. One little pass can do that, and that's what we need more of. Fantastic pass. Right, their second goal, we're going to talk about it. Let's get into that right now. Whose fault is it? And I'll tell you everyone's. Or no one's. As the ball's in here, and we're looking at this. This gap is criminal, by the way, for a start. For me, personally, what I'd suggest, Chris Moore has to push up here. Then Luke Ayling should be tight to him behind with this guy behind everyone. You see what I mean? So Chris Moore tucks this to watch this guy's entry into the box. Luke Ayling tight to him with this guy behind Luke Ayling. They're at the wrong side. So then he can watch ball and man by facing that way. He can scan both sides. But the other problem is, two of the defenders tried to play offside. Two of the defenders were ball watching and tracking one man, which is why this gap was created. Just as he kicks the ball. It's that line again. Look, Lucas stood to try and play offside, which is fine. But however, everyone has to be on the same wavelength with that. These guys have not even looked across once. I've been watching. They've not scanned their right shoulder once, which is not good. You cannot do that. You have to be scanning. Like the guys in the first half, constantly looking, constantly scanning. There was no connection here. There seemed to be no leadership in this area like we had in the first half. And that's the issue. Look, whether you think Luke could do better, potentially, but look, he's gone inside. Chris Moore is occupied here. Maybe Pascal could come across a little bit more, and then Moore could cover anything in here. There's so many ways in which this goal could have been avoided. It's a terrible goal to concede. Drami is too deep. If you're playing this line, someone has to establish the line. You have to say, on my mark, you stop. If I shout stop, you stop. And it's on them if they're not offside. That's what you have to do. You cannot be on with different wavelengths. And they were, and that's the issue with this goal. You can blame Luke, you can blame Strout, you can blame Cody Drama, you can blame Chris Moore. They're all at fault because none of them were on the same wavelength. Okay? That's the issue. Cody Drama should not be that deep. He should scan and push right up. He's not a threat there. He's on the outside. Pascal, again, should do the same thing. Look at the line. Chris Moore probably should be a little deeper. If the ball comes into him, then he reacts. And he's already on him. You don't have to be that tight there. It doesn't have to be. He can be 1 or 2, feet back around here. The line isn't good. It's not good from anyone. Fart could be fuming at this and he will do a lot to work on this. The line is not good. Everyone is at fault for that. I'm telling you, believe me. You don't have to, but my opinion, everyone is at fault for that goal. As you can see, Chris Moore's too tight to this guy. The ball comes through that little gap. If he's just an inch or 3 or 4 inches further back from the start, he's here and he cuts that ball out and there's nothing here. Again, now Cody's looking. As the ball's about to go through to him. Step up, lad. All right? And that's fine. This is pre-season. This is what the point of this is. This is the point of defending. This is what it's for. This is the point of doing these games. Cut out stuff that's happened here. Okay? It's fine. You'll learn from this. It's everyone's fault. It's fine. It's pre-season. This will happen 100 times in every game in pre-season. Players will do the wrong thing. That's fine. Stop exaggerating.